Morning all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, it's the world of Wayne. We now got part 8 of Hachette Part Works, build the Spitfire Mk1a. You know what, it's good to be getting hold of one of these, especially in this time of lockdown and we can't go out. First off, trying to find a newsagent who's actually got one. Luckily enough, my Asda does have one of these. And obviously I'm not relying on the subscriptions, even though I've got a subscription to this as well, to come through because we know they're delayed. These are coming in every 2 weeks now. So today in the shops, if people have been getting them from the newsagents, they should have been a Terminator there and there should be a Bismarck as well. Obviously the Terminator and the Bismarck that I get are normally on subscriptions. So I'm waiting for them, but I am hoping to get hold of a Terminator through eBay. We'll have to see. I don't know what number that is, 56 or something, I don't know. But we've got some fiddly details in this, but we don't need to use our screwdriver. We are going to need to use our glue. So as you can see, we've got 2 sprues, some pipe works and some details here to go on, all to do with the supercharger and adding some details to it. And basically we're going to be breaking these off and putting these details together onto the supercharger, so that when it's finished we're going to have a lot of pipe work and it's going to add a lot more body to it, this Merlin engine. And as you can see from the picture I showed you before, this is how the supercharger looks on that engine. Quite an impressive bit of kit, I have to say, and the detail that this is going into just on that engine is impressive as well. In the next issue, we're not finished there, we're going to be adding some even more details to the supercharger there. As you can see, lots of pipes and another sprue there to go on. This actually looks quite fiddly. What I'm going to be using for this, I'm going to be using my normal super glue to actually put the parts in. If the parts have a seal, then I am going to be going over the seal just with some Tamiya extra thin cement there, just so it can flow in to make sure that doesn't break apart. The only other thing we need for this is obviously trusty sprue cutters, and I've got my pin vise, which is just a vise with a pin in it, literally, just to tap that glue into place. So the only other thing we need, I keep forgetting, is the actual supercharger that we worked on last time. This is what it looks like. This is what we did last time. And we're going to be adding to that now. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, the first 2 items we need are the supercharger backing. One looks like this. It looks like that from that side. And then we've got this one looking just like this. And from that the other side. This is metal. Both of these are actually metal, and that's why I'm using the super glue on them. As you can see, we've got 2 lugs just on this side. They're going to go into the 2 lugs just down here. So when we put this together, it's going to look like that. So let's dob some glue just into these holes here. Now, to ensure I don't put too much glue on, I always just squeeze a load into the actual top of the tray that this comes in, and I'll apply that with my pin vise. So one in here. This just ensures that I don't put too much glue on, because there's nothing worse than having glue marks in the outside of these details here. So once again, we've got the 2 lugs there. We're going to push that into place. Just hold that for a second. Now we need the base to the section we're putting here, and as you can see, it has got a shape that looks like a better pair of goggles or glasses. It's just going to match the same shape that we've got in there. So this is going to fit together just like that. Now once again, both of these parts are metal. What we want to do is we want to put some glue just the inside rim of that there to hold that into place. So again, I'm just going to dot this just around the inside there, not too much. I think that's probably ample actually. Make sure this is lined up correctly and then push that in. And you see, don't use too much glue, and how clean that looks once it's in place. Now we're going to take the supercharger, which we worked on in the last issue here, looking just like that. We're going to be putting this into place. As you can see on this side here, on the close-up, you've got 3 holes here, and then we've got 3 lugs just on the part that we just created there. So this is going to fit in, just to give it a dry fit, just like that. I'm just going to make sure this goes in all the way, just like that. Now don't be afraid to push this in hard. It does need to be pushed in hard, but all these pieces are metal, so we're not going to have a problem there. But we do need to glue this in, so I'm going to just drop some glue just into those holes there. One, 2, and last but not least, 3. Push this together. Really tight I'm going on that, because I want to make sure there's no gap down the side there. And that looks excellent all the way around. So we can put that to one side, and now we need to break open the sprue cutters. These are available in my Amazon store. Once again, I put a link down there. We want to cut off the 2 details. Now the details on this are labelled 1 and 2. They're the 2 details that we need, as you can see there. But they've labelled them up here as A and B in the instructions. So I'm just going to cut these off, putting the flat end next to the part I want. And the advantage with doing that is that I'm not going to need to file them afterwards to ensure there's any flashing or burrs on there. Now I've got one more bit to cut off. I'm just going to put my magnifying glasses. These are available in the store as well, because I want to make sure some of these, it does tell us that where to cut them in the correct place, because there are some bits of this detail that we actually need to keep on there. Not so much with the 2 bits we've just taken off there, but in the next 2, which you'll see shortly. Now I'm actually keeping the magnifying glasses on here because look how tiny these are. But we've got 2 lugs just on the top of this one. We need to put them in the 2 lugs holes that go in there. If I give you a dry fit just to show you what this is going to look like, it should look just like that. So break this apart. I'm going to put some glue just down in those 2 holes there. I have to say, this part here doesn't really look like the picture I put up on the screen. Especially this part. This doesn't look anything like it, but this is definitely the correct part. I had to cut the video just to confirm that. But there we go, put that into place. Now these bits are plastic, so I might seal them just with a little bit of Tamiya cement. Just around the edges there, just to blend them in and let the glue soak in to ensure that's all one place, never going to come out, just like that. Okay, so that's all done. We can put that to one side while we break open the silver sprues, and we need parts E and F off of these, although on the sprues they're again labelled 1 and 2. So again, trusty sprue cutters, making sure I cut these off flush to the detail, and we get both of these off. Now these are just labelled as Supercharger details, but once again we've got 2 lugs on this side. They're going to be going into the 2 holes that we got on the other side. So once again, I'm going to drop some glue into there. This is really detailed, just to say this is just the Supercharger. Forget doing the rest of the engine at the moment. We're just working on the back of it. And, well, you can see for yourself how much detail's in this. We're going to put these together. And once again, just going to use a little bit of Tamiya cement just to guide it into these crevices here. Crevices, hark at me. God, I use some weird words when I'm doing these videos. I meant seams. There we go, a little bit on there as well. Now we want to cut off part G, which is actually part number 3 on the sprue. And I'm just making sure again I'm cutting this off exactly at the points I'm meant to, so that will look just like that. And as you can see on this side, we've got a hole just with a lug in the middle of it, which is going to follow the exact dimensions of that one there. So because I know exactly where this is going to go, there's hardly any way I'm going to put this in wrong. I'm just going to put some glue around the edges here, just to lock this in place. This goes this way round, just like that. So when that's on, it should look like that. Now once again, I am going to just drop a little bit of thin cement round the side to ensure that bond is good. Now we've got 2 bolt shaped parts to cut. That's the smallest ones on these. These are labelled up 5. They're both the same actually. They're both labelled as number 5. Again, when you cut these, it's best to have these sort of things because these are really detailed. You want to make sure you cut the actual part at the correct point. So that's 1, 2. Let's get them off the other side. They shouldn't ping off in all directions, but I am just holding them just to be sure. That's 1. Get the other one off as well. 2. I could put some masking tape to make sure that they don't ping off, but that's both of those sections there. Now I've got my tweezers here. I don't know if I'm going to show you this on the top camera here. You can see you've got a thin end and a thick end there. It's the thick end that's going to go into this detail. Now these are going to go into the two holes that we've just got here and here. So I'll get some glue in those. Dot that in. That's one. There's two. Pick these up with my tweezers and ensure it's the thick end that's going in there. That's one. And that's two. Push them in and that'll look just like that. Now we need these two Supercharger details. They're the ones left on the black sprue and these are labelled up 3 and 4. So just cut these off. Ever since I bought these magnifying glasses, I have to say I do find these issues really enjoyable because they're a lot easier for me. Believe me, without these I wouldn't be able to see properly. It'd be the bane of my life. So this time we have this piece looking just like that. As you can see, it's got a notch in it there, and then we've got the other corresponding lug on the other side of this piece here looking just like that, and that's just going to go into there. So what I'll do again, just drop some glue in there just like that. Put these two bits together. The super glue pretty much holds that instantly, and then while it's being held I'll just go around the seam again, just the Tamiya extra thin cement, and what you find when you actually put it on, it does actually just run straight into the seam there. And then once you put that to one side, you've got peace of mind knowing that it's going to do its job and that part will never come apart again. Okay, now that's done, we bring back the whole Supercharger that we've been working on last time and the silver detail we had looking like that. And if we look at this side of the Supercharger detail, you see you've got two holes just there. We've got the two corresponding lugs on this side of the silver detail, so this is actually just going to go in like that. So it's a dry fit there. That's what it looks like from the back there. If I turn that round, it's going to look like that from this side. So once again, we'll get some glue in here. Now for this, I don't use the Tamiya cement because we're actually gluing it into metal. That cement's not really that good on metal. It's really for plastic. So, but I'm not going to say it doesn't glue metal, because it does. A lot of people said don't use Tamiya cement on metal because it doesn't glue. Well, I can assure you it does, because I've tried it. But it does take a while to cure. I don't think it'll be as strong as Bonder's cement is anyway, as my super glue is anyway. But there you go, that's that piece on. So if we turn that round on the other side here, as you can see, we've got the same two holes there. What we're going to do is we're going to put the first black detail that we created together there, looking just like that. And as you can see on the other side, once again, we've got two lugs. So I'll get some super glue in there. 1, 2. We'll put this into place, ensuring that we put it in so that the longer section there is facing down. So that looks just like that. Okay, and the next section, as you can see right at the bottom here, we have got a lug which is pointing straight up down. We're going to be putting this section in, looking just like that. This is the piece we put together. But I'm going to give it a dry fit just to show you what way around it actually goes. And this section's going to go in like that, pointing towards this side here. So I'll get some glue in there. And this should keep this nice and tight into place. I did have a challenge trying to identify this piece actually to the picture. It's just the way where the pictures are black and white, it's hard to actually identify how this actually looks. But as you can see, that's now in place perfectly. Okay, then we've got another detail which they label as J, but this one is one of these ones that said you've got to be careful where we're actually cutting it. So it does have a flat area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off, show you exactly what this looks like when it's actually off the sprue here. It should look, if I hold it up with my tweezers here, it should look just like that with the little notch at the above there. Now basically, if we take the Supercharger here and turn it to this side, we've got a tiny, tiny hole just in the side there, which we're going to put some glue in. And where we cut that off the sprue with a little notch coming out of it, which I'll just put in here now, we're going to put that inside there ensuring that the actual detail faces upwards. So once it's in, it's going to look just like that. Now we're going to be putting this pipe in, and if I hold it that way round, you can see you've got a little lug just on top of the black area here. Then you've got quite a large section here, which is going down the bottom. Now this is going to be going, the larger silver section here, is going to be going just onto the bottom hole there. So when this is in, we'll push that in, it's going to sort of sit in like that. And then the lug on the other side here will be going just under the silver detail we just put in there. So that will go in kind of like that. But we need to glue this into place, so I'll get that in now. So I'll put the top of the pipe in first and make sure that's square. Hold that in place before I put the bottom in, just like that. And then you can see where the bottom's wanting to go. It's just going to go into that hole there. So I'll put a little bit of glue in there as well. Well, you can tell I'm concentrating in this. As you can't, yeah. I always go quiet when I'm doing these. I'm actually going to use my tweezers to help me with this one. So hold it there, push it in, and there we go. That's that pipe completed. Then we've got another pipe to go in, which is this black one, which has got a large section at one end and a tiny section at the other. That's just going to go into this large hole just at the top here. And then the smaller end will go into the hole just underneath it. So once again, put some glue in here. You can see how sparing I've got on the glue. I haven't used much at all. So I'll get this in and make sure it points straight down. That's the first side in. And then a little tiny bit of glue just into the hole underneath here. Just like that. Put that in. Again, I'm going to use my tweezers just to line this up. There we go. And that's in. And that's that pipe there in. And we've got one more detail left to put in, which again is on this sprue. But once again, we've got to be careful when we cut it off because there is a bolt attached to the end. So what I'll do is I'll cut this off, show you what this looks like. So I've cut it off. What I'm going to do is just hold it in my tweezers there just so you can see. It's basically round, but we have got this bolt on top as well. There is one more detail to cut off before we put that on, which is this circle one here. So I'm going to get this one off as well. Now these are going to go just into the back of the engine, just on two sides of this engine block here. So in the left one is the one we've just cut off, and it goes in with the smaller pin is what actually goes into the back of the engine there. So I'm going to put this in dryly just so you can see how that fits, just like that. And it's really hard to see in the picture what way round this one actually goes, but I'm going to sort of turn it so the thicker end of it is towards the top. I don't know if you can see it on the top camera, but it doesn't actually tell us. I don't think it matters, to be honest with you, but looking at the picture, they've definitely got the thicker end towards the top. So I'm going to just drop some glue into there first. And I'm going to line that way round. So I'm going to keep that in place for a second. Just like that. And then the next one's going to go next to it. But this one is apparent which way round it goes. It basically goes with the bolt there facing upwards. So when we put this one in, it's going to kind of look just like that next to it. So let's get some glue in there. This is one of those things that once I've done it and shown you what it looks like, it's probably the best way to explain it rather than show you at the time, because this is really difficult to put in, I have to say. Probably not going to need my tweezers for this, but I am going to make sure that it sits completely upright. And there you go, that's those two sections in there. Now if I grab the supercharger again, I'll just put this together where it's actually going to go on here. It's going to look kind of like that, which is really impressive. But all those details to make such a long video, but it does have a sense of achievement when you've actually done it, to see exactly what it looks like there. That is holding itself in there. But really impressed with that, and I love how this engine's coming along. I don't know what it is, but when I see those magazines, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the neck issue. But when you actually get down to doing it, it's not that bad at all, to be honest with you. As I said, we are going to be working on some more Supercharger details, but unfortunately, because of the situation the world is in at the moment with COVID-19 and stuff, this isn't going to be out for another couple of weeks. You're not going to see another Spitfire video for another couple of weeks. But hopefully you'll have a Terminator video, perhaps in 3 or 4 days' time. And I'm waiting on another delivery for the Bismarck before we get them. I do have one more issue of the Bismarck to show you as well. That will be coming further in the week. Anyway, listen, I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care, stay safe.